Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Cyberlynx International College web series. Hope everyone doing good. Well, first let me introduce myself. My name is Manimegalai, the head of School of Internet, Business, Technology at Cyberlynx International College, and I'm also an award winner of Top 10 Women in Security in Malaysia for the year 2020. It's my pleasure to take part and be a moderator for this event. Well, we have two honorable guest speakers for this event. It's my pleasure to introduce them. Firstly, we have Dr. Shivakumar Parthiban, the CEO of Cyberlynx International College. Well, let's see. Welcome, Doctor. So let me introduce Dr. Shivakumar Parthiban have obtained his bachelor degree with honors in information technology in multimedia studies awarded by the National University of Malaysia in 2001. He also obtained master's degree in information technology awarded by University Malaya in 2009. And he also obtained Doctor of Philosophy from University Technology Malaysia in 2020. In his capacity as Chief Executive, he is responsible for college-wide policies and strategies relating to academic and operational matters and drives the academic strategy and overall academic performance of the college. Dr. Shivakumar Parthiban has 20 years of experience as a tertiary educator and is well versed with education institution and student requirements. He is also an experienced lecturer in computing and information technology for all foundation, certificate, diploma, degree, and master's program, who uses appropriate learning, teaching, support, and assessment methods. His research interests include information quality, information accuracy, quality management, and IR 4.0, which led to publication in Referred Journal. He is also appointed as the member of Industry Expert Committee and also a member of Quality under Pembangunan Sumber Manusia Berhad. Welcome, Doctor. And secondly, we have Dr. Prakash Christiansen, who is the founder of VULSAN X Corporation. Dr. Prakash is a prominent figure in the cyber defense verticals in Malaysia. He has also been invited to give keynote speech in 2019 World Interpol Conference in Singapore and Cyber Defense Strategy for Businesses and in many other international conferences. Today, VULSAN X is serving government and various MNC in mitigating cyber risks and or attack. So let's welcome our distinguished speaker and the subject matter expert for our wonderful web series event today. Without further ado, with our panel speaker present herein, let's dive into the topic of our web series today, which is navigating the business, the new business in digital transformation without disruption. When COVID-19 struck, it forced many changes around the globe, including business with new norms. In response, business and schools alike begin to look for ways to continue their operation remotely. Prior to that, investment in digital transformation initiatives have skyrocketed since. Organizations have pivoted to entirely new business models to support flexibility, efficiency, and cost control. Mission-critical services of all kinds are being digitalized, like online shopping experience, remote learning, medical care through telemedicine, or automated supply chain optimizations. It's become increasingly clear that business must enable a digital transformation in order to move forward during pandemic. Exploring how these changes have impacted the business can help people understand how organizations can embrace their digital transformation and what part of these changes will likely to be adopted in order to sustain in the marketplace. In line with that, let's our first question to our speaker, Dr. Prakash. Dr. Prakash, could you briefly explain the digital transformation in the industry perspective?
Hi, good morning. It's nice
Good
to
morning,
see.
Doctor.
Yeah, it's nice to see many committed listeners, because today, in this new norm, when you have this web conference, right, tendency of listeners not to come in, it's very high. But very surprisingly, happy to see many participants in this webinar. So thank you so much for asking this question. My name is Dr. Prakash from VULSAN, as what Ms. Mani said, that I do lead a company called VULSAN. And let me just straight jump into the answer. Well, if you see in the industry today, prior COVID, right, many people or many organizations already were speaking about digital transformation or revolutionizing the business. And I would say very oddly that thank you to COVID, because COVID, although it's killing people and giving a lot of disadvantages to the business and to human being, right? But this COVID, in a way, had some kind of ripple effect in the businesses, because today, as we speak now, all of us are together in speaking to a laptop or to a mobile phone. This is a very simple transformation in our life, which we are dependent to technology. So what else to a company, right? A company who could be earning hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or billions of dollars, they are also in the same dilemma, because today everybody have to work from home, and the businesses have to adopt to this new way. And this industry 4.0 literally are being implemented and being used. So today, human beings are so forcefully with desire to use these technologies and enable this revolution. So there are many areas of transformation which impacted the business, predominantly to sustain, yeah, the human being sustainability and the business sustainability. So without technology, regardless whatever technology, we have to embrace them. So that is my take for that question, and that is the vital awareness that we need to have. Back to you.
Okay, that's great to hear that, Dr. Prakash. And let's address this question to Dr. Siva. Could you explain the digital transformation in higher education perspective? You're not audible, Doctor?
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Speaker. Thank you, Manimegalai, for the warm welcome, and greetings to all participants. So a brief introduction about me. Currently, I'm holding a Chief Executive position at this college, Cyberlynx International College. I have 20 years experience education, and 2020, as the pandemic started, is a remarkable year for me as well. I've completed a PhD. So straight move on to the first question: how this digital transformation related to higher education providers or education industry. So just before we go into the details of the impact of the business digital transformation into education industry, in fact, digital transformation been in the business for many years, but only recently it been very been talked about actively in all platforms. Businesses used to business the way so-called brick and mortar, which is business operate conventionally. So comfortable with the way they do business until the pandemic hit us. So when the pandemic hit us, some industries, including education industries, what to do next? So we're thinking about all the options that we have, all the resources, and the financial factors, how to move forward. Without denying that some institutions, especially in the education industry, they're already in the business digital transformation. So Cyberlynx is one of the college which transform our education into digital transformation. So leverage digital transformation is accelerate business. That is a fact without denying that. Just to quote one fact from the World Economic Forum, predict that 65% of children entering primary school today will ultimately end up working in complete new job when they are ready for employment. This is the very true fact whereby whatever we are doing now will be beneficial for our children's in next 10, 20 years is a big question to ask. That's why IR 4.0 been introduced some time back and be introduced just as an introduction level. But until this COVID strike, everybody want to go into this IR 4.0, and we don't want to miss these opportunities. We also went into IR 4.0, introducing many new concepts, new technologies, so it can benefit the students and also the organization as a whole. That's why forward-looking organizations are finding new ways to modernize work, automate for greater productivity and improve productivity. The COVID-19 pandemic that has affected economics worldwide has also beaten up the education industry in both developed and developing countries, so including Malaysia. Students include all level education learners are unable to go to education institution physically. We used to conduct our diploma program, certificate program, degree program in conventional ways. So once the pandemic strikes us, we have to switch to online. So when you switch to online, it's a big decision to make. It's a big question: are we ready for online? At that time, we were trying to puzzle. We were trying to figure out, but down the line, we fixed everything. Now we are 100% ready for online education. The impact has been transformative as education providers are looking forward to implementation technology solution enable remote teaching and learning. So through some educational institute have been using technology solution for the last many years. Most of the institutions have now realized the significance of digital transformation education, particularly in world, mainly to address the COVID-19 outbreak. Across the world, governments, different countries are making effort to mitigate the immediate impact. Institution closure facilities, the economy continuity for all. So the global economy include Malaysia continue to endeavor to serve the severe challenge of the COVID pandemic. COVID pandemic has changed the way business been operated and implemented before in every aspects. Malaysians were affected in every sectors, both in public, private. Many of our daily operations and business activities are now on virtual platform. In education industry, all our teaching, learning activities, coursework, assessment, examination, and many more, now we have to switch to online to cater for our customer needs, particularly our students. So basically, the digital transformation in higher education focuses on infrastructure, facilitating innovations, and creating an ecosystem for higher standard of teaching and learning activities. That's what we're trying to do at Cyberlynx. Digital transformation plan to accelerate technological advance mechanism to shift conventional program mode into digital mode. Delivery of quality education now is dependent on student home broadbands, connectivities, or access to laptop or computers. This is the era of wave digitalization and no Malaysian should be left out. Similar to other industries, higher education institutions need to make informed decisions and at time quick decision to streamline operations, understand their customers, our students, service to our students, product development, asset utilization, or other operational areas in digital era. Higher education institutions today must integrate digital technologies into their business to much greater extent than before. So without denying the impact and magnitude of COVID pandemic forced many sectors to attempt into business online, and including education industry as well. Higher education institution across the globe had to make quick and important digital transformation adjustment to sustain operations. Question about course delivery, virtual classroom, capacity, conducting exam and assessment, academic integrity, use of webcams, capacity and quality of video conferencing, many other questions were raised. So people do ask us, how are you going to transfer knowledge from a conventional institution to delivering an online program? Yes, we can do that. We have delivered that, we have done that, we are successful. How I can say that? We can say that when you look at the student pass rate. Many HEPs signed with Zoom, Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, and other software to sustain operations. So basically, this pandemic, what Dr. Prakash is given us opportunity to look at the other side of the coins and opportunities for us to invest. Back to Manimegalai.
Thank you, Doctor. That is a very clear information that you have shared, and glad to hear that Cyberlynx International College able to deliver the top-notch education to our future students. Yeah, so that's nice to hear. And pertaining to digital transformation, I have a question to Dr. Prakash. What will be the new norm for capability development and the impact of digital revolution for all levels of workforce? Can you add some thought on this question, Dr. Prakash?
Yes, absolutely. So,
Thank you.
You see, those days when I was doing my little bit history, when I was doing my degree in KL, it was known as the computer science. I used to learn that, right? And I used to be exposed to C++, COBOL, all this old language. And back then, we thought that the future would be bright by learning this type of technology. But you see, the irony of technology, right, is this: things change overnight because the technology growth, it is exponential, and the way how businesses at all level, be it education business, be it service sector, be it manufacturing sector, when they start embracing technology, right, the way or the way of living change, the business art of handling customers, the art of making money for companies change. Why I say that? I give you a simple analogy. Those days, we used to have physical telephone, right? We used to go to telecom and buy, say, hey, I need a service, I need a phone in my house. And what happens next is these telecom guys will lay a cable to your house, and there you go. Bam, you have a telephony system in your house and you have a phone, right? And fast forward, then we had mobile phones. Then we said, hey, you know what? I don't need a phone in my home. With just a mobile phone, I'll be able to get my relation to call me. Then fast forward again, right? We said that, hey, you know what? I don't really need a mobile phone. All I need is a Skype phone. So if you go to Hong Kong, a place called Wan Chai in the year 2006, right? There's a whole building there only sells Skype phones. I was there for 6 months for some work. I was surprised, like, hey, what's going on, right? In Malaysia, we never thought of having Skype phones, but there was like selling Skype phone, like selling bread, you know. Fast forward again, the Skype technology, the VoIP, we call it voice over internet protocol, have revolutionized business, where today business doesn't need analog phones. Businesses doesn't need companies like Avaya. Avaya used to be the market leader in providing telephony solution to big MNCs. But today, where are they? They are dying. You know why? Because somebody who could develop a VoIP solution could sell these services to these businesses. They now have to make phone calls free of charge. You only need to have internet. So you see how the transformation from a physical phone cabled way have changed the way of working. Until today, the businesses can now operate from home and they don't even need an office line. Today, if somebody wants to call a company, right, they still call 03 blah 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 blah, and guess what? Bam, your mobile phone rings, and you could be sitting in your bed and answering phone call. Hey, thank you for calling ABC Sindram Berhad, and how can I help you? Can you see how things change? So you see, I'm just talking on one simple example, a telephony revolution. What about the rest? What about HR policy? What about operational? So the end game, so let me just relate back to Cyberlynx of greater objective. You see, when a student or somebody is being groomed, like what Dr. Siva was saying earlier, 65% of the students will change job. That means the role will actually change. See, those days when I was in the school days, I used to tell I would like to be a police officer and a fire brigade, and I want to be the uniform guy, you know. Now, if you would ask any children, right, I would bang all the dollar in my pocket today and say, what do you like to be when you grow up? None of them will say they want to become a police or they want to become some role which you used to admire before. You know what people will say? They will say, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an TikToker. I want to make money through the internet. There is no more the thing called, I want to wake up 9 o'clock, go and work. There's no such thing like that. So it means the future businesses, right, need to change to adopt this new type of workforce. This new type of workforce depend on technology, depend on revolution, depend on new way of working. So if this group are groomed, if this group are ready to embrace new way of working, now there's a huge vacuum in the companies. Example, in my own company, right? Today, yeah, we are sustaining, no problem. Because why? We thought many years ago that going to a meeting is the only way of making money to sustain our company. But today, right, look at us, all our employees are in home and we are still operating simply because the output is no more product. The output is in the form of report. The output is in the form of service. So the revolution of this 4.0, this revolution of digitalization, right, has significantly changed the businesses and the users. Now, because of this, right, there comes a new birth. This is called risk. Now, this is where the digital risk footprint are created. Example. Now, if I were to interview a person, right, today, and all I had before, many years ago, I used to be a senior manager in Hewlett Packard. My job, half of the day was just hiring people because it's such a huge company, right? And the only thing I had to validate the candidates was to call back their previous employers and ask, hey, how is this guy doing? But today, right, if I want to do an open source intelligence research on a candidate, all I need to do is to have OSINT tools, and that's it. You know, the whole database of that person's footprint is on my laptop. Example, the way they interact in Twitter, the way they interact in Facebook, the way they post in blogs, which website they go, where their faces are being appeared using the AI algorithm of website. So can you see that? So today, a person's footprint are easily traceable, and that is the risk I'm talking about. So the business also same. So if a business could create a bad footprint in the market, right, and that's it, they just collapse, they die. Because today the startups, are the one making money, not the big guys. So why I'm saying all of this, right, is simply because of this new way of working, the revolution. So yeah, if people, things are getting disrupted, human beings are being disrupted, and if the business doesn't change, and if the business doesn't realize or equip themselves for the tomorrow's world, right, then I think it's an organic death, I would say. Organically, many people will die. Organically, many companies will die. And those guys who are ready to change, maneuver across or maneuver with this wave, then they are the winner. So yeah, that is my thoughts about it. Back to you. You're on mute, Manny. Yeah.
Sorry, Doctor. Well, Doctor, that's very interesting a session that you shared about your experience and how you connect the dot, regarding the digital transformation and what happened if we fail to do so, and the birth of the risk and footprinting on a digital platform. Yeah, that's really very interesting to hear. And yes, you're based on your experience and your expertise and your depth of understanding in this area really open our eyes and it triggers us to learn more and to learn more and adopt to this digital transformation. So that's nice to hear. Well, let's move to our next question. Yeah, I would like to call Dr. Siva on this. Would you able to explain on what are the categories of educational services and new digital trend in line with this digital transformation area? Could you explain on that, Doctor?
Thanks, Manimegalai. Hope you can hear me clearly. Yeah?
Yes, Doctor. Crystal clear.
So before I will explaining about the category of educational services and digital trend, just now Dr. Prakash mentioned about the sustainability. So sustainability is a big word. Yeah. Before pandemic, everyone's doing great. The income was good, all that. But during the pandemic, the sustainability is big questions. Many institutions are struggling now. If you on BBC, CNN, and even our local channels, they will talk about sustainability, how the economic factors are affected. Education is one of the economic factor. Right? Without denying that, education is one of the economic factor. So due to this pandemic, we need to sustain in the business. So how are you going to do that? So that's how we have this digital trends in the education. So if you put into a basic understanding about education, education you can divide into two main domains. The one is operation, the other one is academic. These are the main core, two main core when you talk about any educational institutions. So before pandemic, these two domains, operation, academic, were on the conventional way of doing business. For example, if let's say you talk about student enrollment, students have to fill up a manual form and then they have to walk into the college, they have to fill up the manual form, go to bursary, pay the fees, timetable given, they start the class face to face, they go for exam, then they graduate. All right. But due to pandemic, we can't do all that in manual way. So we have to switch to online. In other way, you say due to is a new digital trends. So if let's say I just map directly, I do a direct mapping, a conventional way of doing business versus the example of new digital trends. I can easily list about 5 core functions that we can do a direct mapping into our digital trends. Number one is the student enrollment administration, communication, teaching and learning, review examinations, and there is one gap between post-pandemic and the digital trends or digital transformation was the digital trend is the convocation. If you notice that many institutions has postponed their convocation or they are doing online. You see, not many are doing online convocations. I noticed that some public universities they have started, like UKM, they did online convocation. Even some private sector they did online convocations. And I personally think that online convocation is not the way it's supposed to be, because if you talk about convocation, you talk about assignment. We are celebrating our graduates, but due to pandemic, you can't do that. So to put a pause button to that, what they did, they postponed the convocation to the following year, following year. We have already experienced MCO 1.0, 2.0, and MCO 3.0. But yeah, the vaccination is going on. But you look at the latest statistic in Malaysia, it's about 15% of the population vaccinated, and only 5% is vaccinated with 2 doses. So why I'm saying all this? I'm saying this because we don't know. There is endless possibilities, and we don't know when the COVID going to end, or we're going to live with the COVID. Yesterday, so I read one article. There is one person in UK living with COVID for 10 months. After a test, another test is still positive, but he's having a normal life. That's called new normal, maybe. So back to the questions. What is the digital trend in our education system? If you talk about enrollment administrations, when you move to digital trend, we are switched to online. So application for enrollment for exam, grade, generation, class, schedules, all is online. So we have to switch to online so that we can get we can meet the customer demand. End of the day, if you want to sustain in the business, customer come first. In our case, the student come first. If let's say we are not trendy enough, if let's say you still want to do the old way of doing things under this new normal, we may not sustainable in the business. Another one we established, we should look into the digital trend is the communications. So before in the past, during the, before pandemic, we used to conduct face-to-face lecture and conventional way for conducting programs. So we can communicate, we can see the students every day. We can talk to them, all that. But pandemic, we can't see them every day. We only can see them via Zoom. And now also there is many things happening in Zoom. They just pre-record the video, assuming they are like visible, but actually they're not there. It's only videos there. So so to improve that, the collaborations of platform online communications core for educations. And without denying one of the another core area in the education is the teaching and preparing lessons. It's closely related to the references and reference book, teaching material, all that. So we have to switch to electronic books, so online resources, which you have done it. And one of the main core in education is teaching and learning. So, and going through online sections, you still earn your diploma. That's why the MQA came out with the new concept called micro credential. So to recognize your past experience and to address the pandemic, the micro credential have been introduced. And the third approach is service operation combinations. Involve integrated transformation through systematic interrelations, both previous approaches. So as I mentioned earlier, if you want to switch from manual way to a new digital trend, we can do that. It's a drastic switch, it's a drastic changes. But if success is very successful, if you fail, we have to revert back to the first step and then redesign everything again. So I would suggest for all the education institutions, considering the pandemic, the the contingency plan must be there so that our customers in this context, our students, they get a quality education. Pass back to Manimegalai.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. Based on our speaker, the valuable information shared by Dr. Shiva and Dr. Prakash, we understood that digital transformation is very essential for new norm businesses. And we have seen some of the trend, risk, and capability development and the impact of a digital revolution that we are facing during the pandemic now. In adding to that, I have a question to Dr. Prakash. What will be the game changer action plan? Could any graduates or those sitting at the fence to move into career changing decision making point? Could you share on that, Doctor? Doctor, you're on mute, Doctor.
Sorry. This has been
Thank you,
like,
Doctor.
share a little joke before I, I continue, right? In this Zoom kind of thing, right? These three things always people say, can you hear me? Can you see me?
True.
Yeah. So
It's a new norm for us also.
exactly.
Yeah.
So well, before I answer your question about the game changer, and so I would like to go back to something which Dr. Siva was saying earlier, right, about the new norm, how businesses are being adaptive to the new way of working. I can share my personal experience on a client that we are working with. They have about 10,000 employees. They are a Norwegian-based organization. They have about 40 country footprint. So yeah, our company is serving them in many areas of a business angle on different verticals for the technology domain. So one of the greatest challenge, right? One of the greatest expense for them prior COVID was they are required to travel, because 40 country, right? 40 country, and you're supposed to go in and out, fly in and out, and they have like about, I think about they have about 17 to 18 mega factories manufacture some stuff. And why they travel? Because factories machinery breaks down, training need to take place, they need to go to the shipyard, customers buy their goods, many ecosystem within that. Now today, fast forward 2019, 2020, people cannot travel, right? Knowledge transfer cannot happen, training on products and technologies cannot happen, especially on trainings. Now then this new thing came. So what happened was, the conventional way of having knowledge transfer to the factory workers, conventional way of training the employees used to be in a PowerPoint, conventional way of putting everybody in a classroom didn't take place. Business got disrupted. So what happened was, we got into a project with them. So what we did was we developed we quite interesting, it's something new for us, but very interesting. It evolved. We used the UI UX technology, whereby we used the Oculus goggle, this VR gaming goggle. We converted the entire PowerPoint into this 360 video, 360 images, where they actually, the students can actually sit wherever they want, and they actually start seeing the actual environment of a shipyard, the actual environment of the factory, and they'll be taught on that angle. It could be happening in a Zoom example, or it could even happen in a web. So you see today the revolution have changed. Today, even if the COVID is no more and become norm, right? People will be comfortable using this type of augmented reality kind of troubleshooting where the engineer could still sit in Germany and the machine can just start floating in front of them and they can start repairing. Now, let me come to your question, right? Where could the students go, or where is the future game goes, right? There are two areas, right, of, of future. One, they could either work for a company which have revolutionized the way of working, which means the graduates or the future employees could adopt to the new technology. Example, designing. Example, creating augmented reality, creating technology, cyber security, risk, and stuff like that. There's another huge vacuum as well. Now, how many people are now hiring, right? So today, if you see in a big CEO or C-level conferences, right, in a leadership conference, people are no more talking about having hundreds of thousands of employees. The C-level guys are thinking on agile, thinking on being lean, thinking of being, cost effective. So when that kind of mindset happens, right, the C-level guys start to revolutionize the way of doing business. It means, hey, you know what? We only manufacture, say, a pen. Why don't we focus on manufacturing pen? Let's outsource HR. Let's outsource paint or spraying. Let's outsource the light. Let's outsource the security, whatever it is, right? And when they outsource, right, what happened? They need to find a vendor. They could find a small company or a freelancer or somebody who knows the subject matter. So now you see the vacuum which I'm talking about is to go into the outsourced business segment where the student or the graduate could form an alliance. Or have you all seen this thing called Fiverr? So Fiverr.com is like a portal where all the freelancers go in and start doing business with international people. My own company have a location to spend in Fiverr. You know why? It's cheap and high quality. And you know who are the guys sitting behind there? Somebody, a kid with some skill with the computer and doing business for me. So now you see, either they could work for a company and have a career path. There is a market, without denying. Everybody needs to work for somebody. Now, it's another thing is getting knowledge, getting the right knowledge from a proper academic institution like Cyberlynx, example, and being part of that whole gap there, which is a more technology-centric employee, where I don't need to be hired, but I could run a business. So the entrepreneurship change, the entrepreneurship way of entrepreneurship is no more drop shipping and all those old school thing. It doesn't work anymore. The way in the technology world is, how could I add value to the transformation happening in that organization, in MNCs? Because why? MNCs have budget, MNCs have money. So when you have money, they spend. So where do they spend? They spend in a place where it's most cost effective, because a C-level guy will never say, go and hire a digital web designer. He will say to this HR, go get somebody who does that. Go and get someone in the out there in the market who's hungry for business, who could do this in my budget. Now you see, why do we work? We work for money, right? And how do we get the money is either you could embrace yourself into an organization or try to stick in that place where they spend the money. So the more the students or the graduates able to articulate or able to craft their journey to the place where they spend the money. So where they spend the money, MNCs, GLCs, SMEs, they spend money. Yeah. As simple as, example, hey, I need to do a website. Doing website is a way of making money. So today, those days, when I used to do my own website, I used to use HTML. It was like a bomb to get a website designer to do a website. So I forced myself to learn about HTML and I started doing website because I want to save money many years ago. But today, you just type website designer in the internet. You can get somebody who willing to do a website for as low as 300 to 400 ringgit. That's crazy, right? You know why? Because everybody is hungry for money. Everybody wants to make some money to survive this pandemic, to survive the new way of working. So fast forward in 5 years down the road, right? When things get normalized, when things get stabilized, do you think companies will say, okay, now everything is back to normal, let's hire? It will never happen. You know why? For past 5 years, organization already got norm. Yeah, we can sustain by having this new way of working. We can still make money for the company by outsourcing the functions. So you see, the future of the businesses, right, is going to remain of what we're facing today. Nothing will change. How the graduates or how the new workforce, the 65%, which Dr. Siva was saying earlier, right, are going to be as close to where the money is. So there's a great saying, follow where the money is. So I have told you where the money is because in my own capacity, I'm seeing that even our own company is realigning our businesses to place where the money is. So what else, right? The new workforce, they have to do that. Either they could embrace themselves into an organization and say, hey, you know what? You hire me, you're going to get this. Well, good luck. You may get a job. But what if I have the skills, I have attained the skill. Now, you know what? You don't have to hire me. Pay me this, and I will be your vendor. And you know what? The businesses have commanding power. They will start saying, okay, I'll spend, say, 5,000 a month with you. This is my SLA, service level agreement, and this is my KPI. They cannot do that when somebody is get hired. When they outsource, they are the boss. And you know what? You get high quality output. So yeah, this is my thoughts about the disruption which happened and the new workforce of graduates or the employees, and that's the way how it is. People get retrenched now, many thousands and thousands of them, and suddenly you realize that they have a secondary strength. All the while they thought their primary strength was working for somebody, and because they got retrenched, 6 months no income, have to still pay the bills, they realize I have to do something about it. This is where your human second brain kicks in, the secondary strength, and you realize suddenly, hey, you know what? I can do this also and still make money. Guess what? They're not going to work for anybody anymore. They're going to do the same thing because they can sustain. So if they can sustain now, they can sustain for the next 15, 20 years. So back to you, Manimegalai.
Thanks, Doctor. You have opened eyes for many students or entrepreneurs or people who have a thought of, venturing new businesses or even start any sort of business in digitally. So you have really opened their mind and eyes to look into it. Well, we have some of students, parents, and even corporate personnel in this web series. We would like to hear your questions because some of them have asked the question personally to me. So we will happy to receive your questions. You can type in your question in the chat box. You can direct the question to Dr. Siva regarding educational need or how this digital transformation trends are in line with our education programs. Even you can, our corporate personals in this web series, you may direct the question to our guest speaker, Dr. Prakash, in order for your company to adjust to the new norm and how they want to transform digitally. I think Dr. Prakash can help you, where he have years of experience in this niche market of technology and cybersecurity and analyzing the risk and so on. I believe he's also being in a defense, national defense system in doing the cyber risk and assessment and all that. So it will be very helpful for you if you have any doubts or any question to be pointed out directly to him, where he can walk you through what's happening now, what's going to happen, and how you can mitigate those unseen disruption that are going to, you might face when you transform things digitally. It can be a business, it can be an education platform, or it can be even a small startup companies. So I would say make use of this opportunity. You have any questions, we are welcome for the questions. You can post it out in the chat box here. So we love to see questions, and we will have a question and answer engagement later on. So you can direct the questions to them, and our subject matter experts are here to walk you through and help you out and guide you through further, even after the web series. So based on that little announcement, we move to our next question. Dr. Siva, could you briefly explain the Malaysian education system towards Education 4.0? Could you share your insight on this vertical, Doctor?
Yeah, thanks, Manimegalai.
Sure.
Education 4.0, before I go into Education 4.0, let me explain about Industrial Revolution 4.0. You see, due to the pandemic, this Industrial Revolution 4.0 or fourth Industrial Revolution, it seems like it's a vaccine for all the economic sectors. It's not only for human need vaccine, industry also need vaccines. So I put it this way, this Industrial Revolution 4.0, it seems like is a vaccine. The vaccine is the digital transformations, which has been here for many, many years. As I said, only people really very aggressive of this Industrial Revolution 4.0. I remember I attended a workshop on the Industrial Revolution 4 back in 2013 or 14, right? So before we discussing about this Education 4.0, let me walk through the revolution of this industries. Industrial revolution has taken place and involved several steps since almost 200 years ago. 200 years ago. So it's well planned. So Industry 1, of course, was in the late 18th centuries, focusing on the mechanical productions, using water, stream power. Industry 2.0, beginning of 20th century, on the electrical production line. And then 3.0, beginning of 1970s, digital automations. And 4.0 is the current one, basically on the physical system, cyber. So this 4.0 is mainly focusing on the intelligent network of machines and processes with the help of ICT. So we are very clear about the Industry 4.0. But how this map into the Education 4.0? So similar to the Industrial Revolution 1.0 to 4.0, education also has gone through a revolution period of Education 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, whereby I just discussed the latest for Education 4.0 is more on the innovating, producing, replacing classrooms. That is the basic concept of Education 4.0, whereby this method always changing. So what I'm telling you today, probably not applicable tomorrow. So it will change. So we need to be flexible. So we are using Zoom today, maybe in next 1-2 years, probably some other platform you need to use to communicate. So it's always changing. And then learners have a major source of technology evaluations. So technology is the number one. So how this education 4.0 related to the education revolution. So this education 4.0, the education 4.0 is a term that has become a public discussion during the rise of industry 4.0, since the inevitability influence almost everything, especially education field. So it's inherited from the industry 4.0. So industry 4.0 in a certain sense will demand more from the current education system along with the technology and teaching method. So it's very clear statement. The demand for the education 4.0 is huge, and I said it will be always changing. So probably now you're using a platform learning management system. Probably you'll use the system for a few years. After that, we have to look for a different system. Probably the system obsolete for that time need. So it's based on the current demand need. The use of technology in the crucial education 4.0 era is in order to allow students to learn individually. It's a self study, and also to reflect the lifelong learning. So if you ask the student what Dr. Prakash said, probably many companies will be very comfortable and able to sustain during this period. For the next 10, 20 years, they will be doing the same thing. So education also is like that. So if let's say the way move forward is education 4.0, and students, they have to do synchronized, asynchronous, independent learning to embrace their life learning education. Yes, we have to do that. We have to consider that. If we won't do that, we won't be in the game. All right, we need to be remain in the game. So for us to remain in the game, we need to change, adapt the education 4.0. There are several main factors of using a technology to get most out of it. For example, the basic thing is the internet, creative thinking, and society interactions. So the industry education 4.0, there is a big ask compared to conventional way of we are doing things. You see, they already underline in the industrial in the education 4.0 the society interaction, one of the key areas. Those days, I mean, before pandemic, we used to communicate with students face to face. There's also interactions. During pandemic, we have to communicate with students. But the only thing is the platform changed, the method is different, right? And then with all this, then I'll not talk about the education revolutions. So it's similar to Industry 4.0. The education revolution could be categorized based on the level it has been involved in the past centuries. The evaluation, as I explained, education 1.0 to 4.0 is very variable, is always change. The business game will change, and then the economic sector will be affected by this. Our students and parents, our customers, the demand will be different. So for us, like we to be in the education industry, we need to look at this education point for how we can digitally transform, even though we have done most of the transformation presently, but we need to look at the current needs of the students, and we have to project what will be the demand for the next 5 years, next 10 years, and so on. Pass back to you, Ms. Manimegalai.
Uh, okay, doctor. Yes. Yeah, many people, as you say just now, many institution claim, maybe they think that they have fulfilled the education, Malaysian education system in line with Education 4.0. But when we see the current situation, pandemic, and so on, when things happen, now only we realize that there are some gaps still need to be gauged and to be filled up. So that's really making many institution or academic personals to something to ponder in order to enhance or transform the existing platform to be more suitable for the situation that we are facing or the crisis that we are facing at the moment. Yep. Based on that, let's. So with that, we will go ahead with some questions. So we have received one question from Mr. Ruben Raj. What kind of skills that maybe I think he asked that what kind of skills want to learn on nowadays to earn money? So any speaker would like to take up this question to assist Ruben Raj, Mr. Ruben Raj, on this question?
Can I take that?
Sure, doctor. Sure. It's all yours.
Okay. So there's two questions there, and both questions are very in trend or very valid. So I think Ruben, your question is smack at the bullseye question. So the answer for this, right, are very simple actually. Let me give you a little story. In 1998, my first job was in Hong Leong Bank. So the objective of my dad, my late dad, was for me to get a job. That was the ultimate motive. So his requirement was very simple. The son must get a job. The son must work in a bank because he was a banker. So by going to many people, literally begging for the son to get a job, I got a job in Hong Leong Bank as a computer operator. Thankfully, I was working in a data center. And because I did my diploma in computer science, and we have to, the objective was to get a job, right? And luckily, I was working in the IT department. Lucky. Now, back then, it was relevant for me because I did my diploma in computer science, and I was working in a data center where I have to work in a cold room. I implemented nothing what I learned in the college, literally zero. Now, you see, from a data center computer operator, I moved on as a system administrator in AIA. I moved on to be a service desk in Microsoft, and I moved on to be a project lead and a manager in a Belgium company, Athos, and I was a senior manager in a Hewlett Packard. And then I moved on into my business career as a trainer, as a facilitator, and then became a consultant. And finally, I own several businesses in the IT. Now, if you were to ask this question in 98, right, what skill I need to have to earn money, right? I wouldn't know. Because I never knew that I'll end up today wearing this VULSAN t-shirt or my brand and saying that, hey, you know what? I'm a prominent businessman in Malaysia doing cybersecurity and a digital transformation business. I will never know. But the key is this, make yourself relevant now for what skill that you need to have now. That means what skill you need to have now? Digital transformation, web designing, UX, user interface technologies, cloud, Azure, cybersecurity, data science. There are tons of it. I don't have to say it. You can actually know this stuff, right? Now, will this be relevant for next 5 years? I got no idea. Will this be relevant for next 10 years? Nobody knows. But the success for you to make money, right, is to stay relevant to the industry. Like what Dr. Siva was saying, right? Always, the time always changing and everything changes and we never know. So the only way for you to continue to earn money is to continue to revolutionize about what is happening in the future. Continue to revolutionize to stay relevant to the right technology. It means continuous learning, continuous adoption to technology, continuous evolution of brain to learn new stuff and stay relevant. So that is the answer I have for you, Ruben. You can make money today, yes, but if you're going to, are you going to make the same money for next 10 years? I got no idea. Because today a guy could I'm paying a guy to do my 3D animation for my client, right? 8,000 ringgit for one video, you know. Maybe in 3 years down the road, right, I'll be paying maybe 2,000 ringgit only. You know why? There could be like another 10 fellas out there can do the same job or better, and I'll be paying less. Now, are you going to earn the same money in next 10 years? No way, because you have competition. More graduates will be learning the same skill. So the only way of getting the same salary or same money is, hey, you know what, doctor, I can do this 3D animation, plus I can integrate this with your PS5. Hey, you know what? I would love that. You see, staying relevant and adding on to new technology, that is the key success. So that is my answer, Ruben, to you, to answer your question. Staying relevant and staying innovative in the skill is the only key success factor for you to continue earn the money. No way you're going to earn the same money every time. Even those guys who used to sell, I give you an example. A guy who sells, example, this particular USB, this thing, this plug where he has the USB, maybe in 3 years back, though the fellow who sells this in Shopee could be selling this at, say, 50 ringgit, people buy. And you know what? 3 years later, 50 same product out there, 50 different sellers. Do you think you're going to buy for 50 ringgit? No way. Because everybody is going to sell cheaper to get the market segment. So I'm going to buy this thing, no more 50 bucks. I'm going to buy this 15 ringgit because everybody are competing to the buyer segmentation. So same thing goes to technology. Are you going to earn the same amount of money in next 3 years? No way. So how could you stay relevant? I'm going to sell this. If you buy this, you get a cable free. Guess what? I'm going to go to you. Same thing, man. I mean, if you're going to get a developer job, or if you're going to be some kind of technologist, stay relevant. That is the key. Relevant. Okay. That's my answer to you. I can go on for next one day, but I'm just talking.
Yeah. That's a good sharing. I believe, Ruben Raj, you have some clear picture how you want to earn money nowadays. And, as Dr. Prakash shared, you have to be skillful and relevant to the current crisis or situation that we are facing. Okay. And then we have another question from Mr. Shazwan Iskandar. Nowadays in MCO, is it the game changer by starting the online business? Online business will affect another outlet. Can Dr. Siva or Dr. Prakash could answer Mr. Shazwan on this question? Anybody?
I have answer, but Dr. Siva, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Prakash.
Okay. Interesting topic as well.
We love to, we love to hear from you because you are the market player here and the subject matter expert. We love to hear from you, Dr. Prakash.
I love this question. Was actually waiting for me to get a turn to answer that. Actually, maybe Dr. Shiva can add on later. Sure. Yes, you're right. In MCO time, if you see today, right, everybody telling, hey, you know what? Be a drop shipper. Hey, you know what? Open a store in Shopee and Lazada, you'll make money. Go and ask the people out there whether are they earning 5-digit or not. You know what is 5-digit? Earning more than 9999, 4 nines, you know, that's 5-digit salary. So this is the fact, Shazwan. Yes, you're right. Game changer, starting online business. Yes. What business? That is the point. If you're going to say that, you know what, doc, I'm going to uh, get some product and sell it, you're not going to make money. You're going to be in the e-commerce world, and you only have this thing called checklist done. I'm having a store in online. Are you making money? No. No way you're going to make money. You know why? Like you, there are 100 fellas out there, or maybe thousands, because everybody want to have a store in Shopee. Everybody out there. I give you a real example. A real example. One of my business segment is to take down illegal sellers. That is one of my business segment in my company. So under the Malaysian law, right, certain products, right, you cannot sell online. I cannot disclose what is this, all right, but I can tell you as much as this, right? Certain products you cannot sell online, and because of that, you will be summoned 100,000 ringgit if you were caught selling certain type of products. Of course, these products are not illegal substance. These products could be, you can find them in Speedmart 99 and 7-Eleven and any other restaurants. You can find these products, but you cannot sell online. That is the law, you know. So what happens, right? These big MNCs, huge MNCs, right, having headache because these online sellers are getting these materials illegally. So they fall into this category called illicit trade. So when they fall into this illicit trade, right? Illicit trade means illegal. Illegally, you're selling this. Although it's a legal product, right? Why? Because the revenue of this big MNC should come from a legal authorized seller, which is the 7-Eleven, restaurants, and Speedmart 99. When these online guys takes control of this online selling, right? What happens is they cannot control the revenue because these products could be, they could got this product from underground network or from smuggling network, right? And they have no control. So what happens, right? There are certain organizations like mine, go after them. We bring them down. We shut them down in the online world. So you see, yeah, you answer your question. Is it a game changer to be in online business? Yes, but what product? Do you want to sell something which you're going to make 20 cents margin, or you're going to sell something you have a 2,000 ringgit margin? I give you another example. Selling online in a Fiverr, or selling online in a freelancer websites, right? Doing something. Example, I give you a real example. Hey, you know what? I can do Doodle. So Doodle is a tool, you can buy it, $69 in the website. Your commitment, very simple. 1 year, I spend $69 and I have access to a tool which I can do some animation about business. Guess what? You can do Doodle for many, many clients out there and charge them, say, 300 ringgit. You know what? You do 10 videos, you make 3,000 ringgit. So if you could do 10 doodle videos in a month, you're having a decent 3,000 ringgit without spending petrol, without spending time travel, without spending, all the marketing, all these things. You just do a simple stuff using technology versus selling a product for 3 ringgit and you have to sell 3,000 or 10,000 same product to earn the 3,000. So you see the ratio. Being online is right, but what kind of technology that you're going to use, or what kind of product you're going to use, or what kind of service you're going to use to revolutionize the way of making the money. So you don't have to bother about your second question. Online business will affect other outlet. Why you care? Don't care. Whether you disrupt other business or not is not of your business, right? I tell you very bluntly, you don't have to worry about other outlet. You worry about you. You worry how you're going to make the money. You worry how you're going to, don't do that. Sorry, I was telling my son. Yeah. So online business will affect other outlet, right? So you don't have to worry about other outlet anymore. Just focus on your skill. Example, you learn a skill. You learn a new skill in academia. And then apply that skill, like I said earlier, right? Work for somebody or work for you. It's two things. Entrepreneurship. Yeah. You can't be carrying a book and go door to door and tell, hello, boss, I can do these services. No more the way. The new norm is what? Being in the internet. So now you need to start learning about SEO. You need to start learning about Google AdSense. You need to learn about LinkedIn advertisement. You need to learn about Google Play Store. You need to learn about App Store. All of these things, leverage on the existing technology. Be in online. But the way how you be online is the game. Yeah. So that is it from me. Dr. Siva, you want to add something? I leave it to you, or
Yeah.
I pass the ball back to Manimegalai. Yeah.
Online business will affect another outlet. Yeah, what you said is very true. But my take on this question is, if you intend to do online business, and if you compare to the old way of doing business, normally in the old method, customer comes to you. In the online business, we go to our customer. So we have to make sure that whether you have that capability, your products, you can reach the customer. So there is demand must be there. And the one very good case study for Encik Sazwan Iskandar to review is the Amazon, the way of they doing business now. They used to be a very typical e-commerce platform, but now they have revamped and then introduced many apps whereby they do online business, but the outlet they maintain. That means the customers can go to the outlet and then collect the whatever goods they want to buy, and then is charged automatically. That means is like B2B or C2C kind of thing. So my take and advice to you is you need a detailed analysis. Now due to pandemic, everybody want to go online. But again, back to our discussion earlier, whether it's sustainable or not is a big question to ask. You must have a good product. You must know who's going to be your customer, how you're going to attract your customer, how you're going to reach out the customers with your products. Back to you, Manimegalai.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. And we do receive another question offline. We have two questions. Before that, we move to the questions from the audience. We have two more key things that we need to address during this web series. So for that, let's move to our questions from our panel. Dr. Prakash, what is your take in IR4 and how businesses are capitalizing on this revolution? Maybe your take on this, a quick one, Dr. Prakash?
Sure. So my take on this, or to summarize this, right? IR4 will be there for good, right? And it's just a word, okay? Only because many government agencies, many countries are talking about it, and they commercialized the word IR4. Okay, so IR4 is a organic growth. You know, people, human being evolve, right? Businesses evolve as well. So IR4 is just a word that to represent the evolution, right? 20 years down the road, it could be IR5, or I don't know, Society 5.0 or something like that, which are already happening in Japan. So my take is very simple, to stay relevant and sustain in the business is the key factor. So IR4 is something which structured the way of growth. IR4 have given us the framework, what it needs for us to stay relevant in different verticals. Example, AI, cybersecurity, data science, the list go on and on. So for us, for businesses, be it in the service sector, academic or manufacturing or whichever, right? Uh, Having the top down awareness or comprehension, or another word, accepting the reality. Hey, you know what? I'm accepting this reality that I'm going to adopt to this new way of working. I'm going to accept this reality to adopt this revolution. As such, I'm going to ensure that my employees, I'm going to ensure my business operational, like the four things, the people, process, partner, and technology. This four things I always keep it very close to my heart. My people need to adopt to the revolution which is happening now. The process, the way of working, the way how we do stuff. Example today, having 38 to 40 participants in a room in a Zoom. So new way of working, a process, right? We're using that. My partners. So not only I need to change, but I also expect my partners to change. Example, a factory cannot have a smart factory having a fully digitalized automation manufacturing in the factory. By having that, he need to make sure that the supply chain, the logistics guys, his suppliers, his vendors are also part of the revolution. Because no point, right? I change, but my people around me doesn't change. It doesn't make sense. So if example, right, I give you a very simple example. Today, if you go to any developer, they sell you a house. Hello, boss, welcome. Today, this house is a smart home. And they say, oh, what is smart home? He'll say, oh, my door is a smart door where you have to put the pin, no more key. Now the aircon you control using mobile phone, temperature and on off. Your fridge will notify you there is no egg, there is no milk. You go to kitchen, the kitchen will tell you, hey, you know what? You need to start mopping because the IoT sensors say your floor is wet. Guess what? If you do not know what is IoT, if you do not know what is internet, you cannot stay in the smart home, right? So it's a supply chain. So imagine factories, companies becoming industry 4.0, but the vendors not 4.0, is still not going to make any change, right? And lastly, the technology, people, process, partner, and the last one, the technology. Whether you like it or no, we have to use some kind of technology. We have to invest in some kind of technology for us to stay relevant. There's no such thing. I'm going to be like this. I'm not going to spend any money on technology, and I want to be part of IR4. No way. If you want to be an IR4, basic stuff, get a smartphone. Don't expect to use the Nokia 3310 and say, hey, you know what? I want to be in the smart world. No way you're going to do that. Some of you probably have not seen 3310. I think Dr. Siva, probably we are the early users of Manimegalai. You could have seen 3310, right? So go and Google it. Nokia 3310. It's a huge history behind it.
The battery can last for a few days.
Absolutely, absolutely. No such thing as power bank and all those stuff. So you see, staying relevant is another thing. So my take will be very simple. Like what I said, the four verticals, people, process, partner, technology is where we need to put the focus on. Thank you. Back to you, Manimegalai.
Wow,
Manimegalai,
Doctor.
you want me to answer the other
Sir?
question?
Yes, Doctor. I about to give the floor to you. The question is, I'm directing this to Dr. Siva. How about engineering and medical program? Can this program go 100% online? The practical aspect in their learning. So could you address this question, Doctor?
So I just answer based on the Malaysian context, and also considering the pandemic. This question been asked by most of the higher education provider who are offering this two type of programs. It refers to the recent circular issued by JPT. The students under these two programs, they are allowed to go back to campus to do their practical works. That means the answer is to go 100% online At the moment, there is no opportunities, there are no possibilities, since most of the industry players trying to figure out that currently, the current situation. Moving forward, there is a possibilities, yes, possibilities, but I won't saying no. But speaking at the current situation, the student need to go back to campus on the need base. It's a practical. They need to go back to campus, especially for engineering or medical. Yeah, back to you, Manimegalai.
Okay, doctor. Yeah, that's great. Last question to you. Before we move to another question by our audience, could you briefly explain the college readiness of technology in use of education 4.0?
Yeah, Manimegalai is a good question. Whether we are ready or not, we are ready. We were ready. When the pandemic started, in when 2 years ago, last year, 2020, early 2020, and then all the institutions and the MCO 1.0 implemented, and then all the institutions were online. So that's the time whereby everybody tried to figure out how to do online, whether we have enough resources, we have enough manpower, all that. So when it comes to back to your question, readiness of the college to address the education 4.0, and also to address the current pandemic issues, we are ready. How I'm saying, why I say we are ready? Um, Presently, currently, with the ministry directive, all the teaching and learning activities are online. All right. And when you want to do online, it's not only Zoom, it's not only Google Meet. We need to have additional applications and platform or learning management system to support the students' teaching and learning activities. So, Cyberlynx, over 15 years, has been providing a quality and industry-driven education to our customers or students. So our lecturers are well qualified and highly regarded by students and alumni for their commitment. So that is the point number one. When we switch to online, we are ready. The world changing rapidly with the more industry undergoing major transformation with the IR 4.0 and the education revelation education 4.0. We can't say no to the online education now. In fact, the revelation has impacted society, workplace, future job, and careers. Thus, CIC, Cyberlynx International College, has implemented the Education 4.0 called ECIC. ECIC is our learning management system, whereby we have all the necessary attributes for online teaching and learning, and also for conventional teaching and learning, been embedded in our system. So, for example, we have e-content and video lectures. We have discussion or chat box to support the students during the pandemic, and we have e-notice boards. You know, and then and despite that, we also have very unique system called the mentoring system, whereby, as I said earlier, even though we are switching from conventional to online, there are certain type of services we still have to carry on. You know, so now we are unable to see the student face to face, but the support need to be there. So what I have done now is we have established a mechanism called a mentor-mentee system to support our students and to address those issues faced by our students academically. So the lecturers will be meeting students via Zoom monthly once at least to check on their progress, academic progress, and on the assessment. Do they need any additional support? and we support them through our latest system. So with all this, we have our new system. It's not new system. It's the ECIC, which is comprises of our Moodle, and also we on to open learning. It's another platform. So with all this, the college readiness towards education 4.0 is we are very ready. That's why we are online, and we can see that when the students going for exam, and then the pass rates, all that. So even though we are ready in terms of whatever resources and platform, we do self-assessment quarterly to make sure we are ready to support the students, and what else we can improve, and what else we can provide the students to make sure they can the knowledge transfer be done correctly, and that the quality of the education is not compromised. So that is the overview of the readiness of college in terms of education 4.0. Back to you, Manimegalai.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. That's a good sharing of you regarding the college readiness of Education 4.0. Before we come to the end of the session, we would like to address Mr. Ruben Raj Christian. Beside Amana Saham, what are the other platforms I can use to save money in order to get higher rate of interest? Doctors,
Doctors.
any doctors?
Uh,
Dr. Siva, Dr. Prakash?
no, I won't be able to give that answer because I'm not qualified financial advisor. No, I'm not going to answer that.
Okay. Yeah. How about you, Dr. Shiva?
You should take it offline. I'm also not qualified
Okay.
financial. That is the
Yeah,
area
the
we need
question is.
to improve.
All right, all right. Yeah, so Mr. Ruben Raj, when we are talking about digital transformation, I believe something to do with the financial planning and thoughts of this. We can make it offline, or maybe some other experts could assist you further. So based on that, we move to our next session where we have already our speaker to have their sharing, and then we have go on with the question and answer with our audience. So that's the end of the we have reached to the end of the session. So that was a very informative and deep sharing by our panel speaker. Well, the sharing remind me the Steve Jobs quote, yeah, of connecting the dots. So basically, digital transformation is all about connecting the dots in navigating the business in the new norm that we are living now. So just a wrap up by Dr. Shiva and Dr. Prakash ideas that they shared. Be relevant and learn new skill sets like cybersecurity, IoT, 5G, or cloud computing, and many other skills or courses that are available, which able you to shine or bring you to the market players more closer. So that's the take on the end of the session that I would like to share it with our audience. So finally, be current and open to the digital transformation that we have gone through since morning of today. So I would like to thank, for our distinguished speaker for answering our audience question as well gracefully, and take it as a mentor giving the answers and guide for the future generation, or even the business leaders who have joined our session today. So that was a great sharing in our web series today. It's our pleasure to have you with us. And before we move to our closing session, we would like to hear one or two advices or some thoughts to be shared by our panel speaker, Dr. Prakash. Floor to you.
Sorry, I was replying a message was directed to me. Classes are going online, business stores are becoming virtual, payment are going cashless, delivery are happening contactless. What Cyberlynx college or university is doing for its students as additional value to face these challenges? So I think the audience is asking this question. Maybe you want to answer them?
Dr. Ken, because while I'm talking, the question just popped out, so I couldn't reach that question.
I was
So,
not concentrating on your question. I was telling him to ask the host.
All right. Okay. Never mind. That's nice of you. Okay. We would like to answer Mr. K. Kakimov. Dr. Prakash, could you able to, before we end our session, thank God the question, there's two more questions just reached to our chat box. We're glad to answer that before we end our session. So yes, Dr. Prakash, could you answer on this?
Okay, so I'm not part of Cyberlynx, but I think I would be able to answer this from an academic point of view, which I think basically every academia out there have the same objective, to impart some critical knowledge for the graduates to stay relevant. So in that perspective, right, you're right. Everybody is going online, everybody is going cashless, everybody is happening contactless delivery, blah, blah, blah. It could even be people selling time in the future. I foresee that. You have a portal, right? And everybody can become a vendor, and then you have time. You have time, but you cannot. You make use of the time. You sell time to people. That means anybody can hire you for 2 hours and use your 2 hours to do some work, right? So your time become money. So I foresee this happening in the future, but I don't know whether it'll happen or not. But you see, this kind of things will happen, right? So to answer your question, what Cyberlynx are doing, or what academic are doing for your students as additional to face this challenge? Well, the point is this. The college, right, can show the food like this, right, in the plate. Whether the graduates take and eat is the question here. The colleges or any universities in the world can never take food and put in your mouth. No way, right? The colleges can only give you the food. Hey, you know what? This is the food for you to survive. Whether you take and eat like this or you take and eat like that, it's entirely up to the people. So now if you see those successful people in the world today, right, they were never taught how to eat. They were given the food. They use their skills, they use their innovativeness to stay relevant and to innovate the way of doing business, the way how they elevate themselves into the digital economy. So this is my message to you, Kite, right? The students have to create the value. You see, like me, I'm a CEO of my own company. I have few companies, right? I give you a reality. When I want to hire a employee in my own company, when I want to find a vendor for my company, I interview them. Okay, every employee in my company I interview, not my HR, because only I know what I want for my company, not my HR, because my HR still employed by my company. She still gets salary in my company, so she doesn't understand. Nobody will understand that what my company actually need, because my company is not a international company. Okay, for me to have a hierarchy, my company is reasonably, we have control of everybody in this company to understand the direction. So I want to be in control. So when I hire a person, right, I'm not seeing, have you done your degree in this say UX or augmented reality or threat intelligence or forensics. I'm asking him, how are you going to do that, use that skill to apply to my business? So I would have expected him or her to do some kind of research about my business, do some kind of research about my type of clients, and do some research on how he or she could use the skill was given to him to add some value to my company. So you see, I'm looking on that angle as an employer. Now, if I'm looking for a vendor, right, when I interview the vendors, there are 1,001 vendors. If you go to LinkedIn, the few months ago, I posted something in my LinkedIn looking for a developer. I just post that. I'm looking for a developer. I had sleepless night for like 2-3 weeks. You know why? Hundreds and hundreds of developers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh was messaging me. Boss, I can develop for you this, I can develop for you that, blah, 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 blah. And I have to literally stop everybody, because why? People are so hungry for business. They want to be part of the vendor ecosystem in my company. So back to your question, right? What does Cyberlynx do to his students to add value to face these new challenges? Hey, you know what? Stay relevant, man. Be relevant to the market. Innovate yourself. That's where you stay relevant. That is my answer to you, basically. It can be long, but you think about it, right? I think it really makes a lot of sense to you. Yeah, back to you, Manimegalai.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. That's a good thought. You're able to picturize the situation for us, where we can put our shoe and think, how actually be relevant. You have mentioned the word many times. So all your experiences and your expertise so far when you share, it's really make us to put our shoe in that situation and feel the relevancy that you are keep emphasizing throughout our web series. And thank you for that, doctor. And yes, we have two more questions that directly is pointing to Cyberlynx International College program deliveries. Example like the course structures, and how our courses can give additional value for this changes. And one more question is by Miss Swan, I think. What do you think that would be relevant in the future, studying digital marketing or studying business? And one more question, any online platform to enhance engineering or technical skills, especially during this MCO? So I direct these three questions to be answered by Dr. Siva, as this is more like, tunneling towards Cyberlynx International College direction. So can we have Dr. Siva?
Yeah, yeah, Manimegalai. So the first
Yes,
question,
doctor.
what Cyberlynx doing to student as additional value to face these changes? Academically, what they are doing, I just mentioned that even though we have moved on to online, but the support is still there. That's why we have implemented the support, the system called Mentee system, to mainly to advise the students if they have any difficulties on the academic matters, so they can meet our lecturers, our admin officers anytime, through the available online platform and through other communication platform, so that the problems can be addressed timely, right? And then talking about the additional values, probably later marketing will be sharing. We are the authorized Huawei center, you know. So we are the Huawei Partner Academy for ICT program. We are delivering about 4 to 5 programs under the Huawei Academy. 5G, cloud computing, big data, IoT, and then development of the short courses. So while being our student, in our mainstream program, students also will be trained on this to get the additional certification, which will be very useful when they graduate. It's a value add for our students. So I believe later marketing will be sharing more on the additional certification through the Huawei Academy, which will be incorporating with the Cyberlynx. Okay, that is the first question. What is the second question, Manimegalai?
Studying digital marketing or studying business, would you think that would be relevant in the future?
You see, digital marketing and studying a business, two different domain. Two different domain. So I won't go into too detail of the domain for digital marketing and studying business programs. So business program whereby is been developed considering a normal business circumstances, how you do business, and I mentioned the conventional way to do business, all that. Of course, you will have other elements like e-commerce, all that. But digital marketing is mainly the way move forward. You know, so if you put all this together, um, of course, there is now the demand is for both. The demand is for both program. It depends on the interests of the students. All right. So if a student enroll for a conventional business program, is not the excuse for them to learn digital marketing. It will be part of that. If a student enroll for digital marketing, there'll be a fundamental of business concept in the digital marketing programs. So looking at the current trend, of course, the new name is the modernized name is the current trend is the digital marketing. People are talking about e-commerce, technopreneurship, and then all the application developments and how you do marketing digitally and many more. So the choice is with the students, and we can see many successful graduates under the conventional business program who later on stay relevant and picked up all those digital marketing skills and being very successful in the business. I think Manimegalai, you also can add on this because you're also expert on this digital marketing and business.
Yes, doctor. Yes. Okay. Before, I think Dr. Siva have already answered Miss Swan or Mr. Swan. I'm not sure your question. We move to Alif Daniel's question. Any online platform to enhance engineering and technical skill, especially during this MCO? This question further can be addressed by our VP of Cyberlynx International College, where they can give you more insight during this MCO, this current state, how you can develop your skill in a technical or engineering domain. Yeah. So for that, we would like to have Mr. Gaji, the Vice President of Cyberlynx International College, Mr. Gajendran, to share our college programs offering to all of you.
Yeah. Okay. Host, can you allow me to on the camera?
1 second, sir. Yes, done.
I can start out with this to answer the question while waiting for Mr. Gajen. Any online platform to enhance engineering technical skill, especially during the MCO? The answer is there should be an online platform. It depends on the type of the program being offered by the college. If the college mainly offering engineering programs, the platform also should be there to cater for the engineering program needs. That is number one. Number two, for example, if you put into the Cyberlynx context, whereby our programs are mainly on the business, accounting, IT, and then the policing programs, all that. So we use the Moodle and also open learning. So with that Moodle and open learning, we still can integrate with other external platform and applications to cater for our students and requests. So back to the question whether to enhance engineering technical skill, especially during the MPO, is depends on the platform, and there are many other apps and application available. For example, there is application called Engineering Free app, whereby you can download many tutorials, videos that can really enhance the students' understanding per se in the engineering field. So I pass back to Gajen.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Siva and Manimegalai. Thanks, Dr. Prakash. Okay. Pertaining on the questions, just to add on Alif Daniel's question, there are basically new progress development, particularly on engineering, IT, and technical skills related to practical aspects. Okay, to move forward on online basis. So there are certain platforms, for example, like electronic workbench platforms. These are one of the platforms that I can share at the moment. They have actually embarked into new technologies where the students can do live practical. It can be from small engineering aspect until to a higher level engineering aspect. So things are changing because of the assist or the technology of artificial intelligence. Okay. In fact, the use of 5G, for example, in certain countries, you can actually operate a crane from home. Okay, you can operate a crane from home, and then you can do construction from home by using certain technologies that we enhanced by artificial intelligence. Yes. Just a short brief on Cyberlynx International College. Okay. We are actually a college, okay, a private college, ranging from diploma to certificate programs in the area of sports, business, design. Okay, and we are in the industry for more than 15 years. Okay, and we are proud to say that Cyberlynx International College is actually one of the first and only college to offer a diploma in football studies. Okay, and under our institution, we have 14 approved programs. Okay, 14 approved program by the MQ and GPT. Under the School of Business, under the School of Sports Science and Management, Law Enforcement, and School of Health and Safety. Okay, why we are so unique than any other education institution? The main reason is all our program we are inclined with sports and also academic. That means our students can enroll into any of our programs, and they can actually study at the same time, go into the sports. Okay, sports and academic. Okay, this is one of the major thing that none of the colleges are actually doing. Okay, and at the same time, we want the student as a whole to be what do you call to be good, to have a good students experience end of the day before once they have a graduate from our institution. That is where we we as a Cyberlynx International College, we have been approved training center for Huawei programs. So throughout their studies, our students will be enrolled into some of these short courses, as Dr. Siva have mentioned. Example, HCIA on IoT, big data, cloud computing service, security, and also 5G. Why there's a need of these specific courses for all of us, our students? Even though they are in sports management or law enforcement, we need to ensure they are in the right industry. I mean, they have learned the right thing, because this additional certification will actually give them a confidence, or when they attend interview, there will be an additional value for them. Okay, because some of the industries they don't need what they call trainings expenses for this student. I mean, these particular candidates to be given, to be exposed. So what happened is these additional courses have been embarked throughout our diploma program, and they will be given extra training exposure in these industries or this platform as well. Okay, and of course, all our students are required to do industrial training. The reason is behind when you are in the training at the current situation. Of course, we can't go. We can't do an what they call hands-on experience. We can't do a hands-on training at the moment, but we do hope that in future, okay, I mean in current situation, the COVID is improved. We do make sure that our students go for industrial training. The reason is because they need to get a simple hands-on experience before they move on to industry. Okay, because they need to know what are the current uh, development have been taken place, especially in the area of computing, especially in the area of artificial intelligence, especially in the area of cybersecurity, digital marketing. Okay, so these are the things that they can learn, while the only platform given is throughout the industrial training. Okay, and of course, um, being said that, we also looking into other areas of training, whereby we give some short courses on IT related programs, okay, which is very much relevant to their course of studies. Okay, for example, related to digital marketing, okay, related to search engine optimization, Excel, and so on. So this would be a helpful tools for them, so they can get a good experience, okay, as a whole, okay, a good students experience before they graduate to, I mean, before they start move on to the industrial world. Okay. Back to Mani.
Okay, for the audience that here you would like to get more detail on the courses that Mr. Gajen have explained to you, you want to know more on that, our team can share it with you. You can have a look on it, and if you still have a question or what, our team are happy to answer your doubts and all your inquiries on that. Our team will share more details on the courses that Mr. Gajen have just shared. Yeah, and moving to the next one is to all participants, kindly fill up your feedback form, and in order to keep in touch with us and for the future web series program as well. And for that also, our team will share the feedback form and other courses, pamphlets or brochures. We will be sharing it with you shortly. And before we end, we would like to hear a little bit from our teammate, Ms. Lovelyn Kaur, our Academic Development Manager, who would like to address some of our Cyberlynx International College programs unique offering that we have in our college. So floor to you, Ms. Lovelyn Kaur. Okay, we can't hear you, Ms. Lovelyn. I think you are facing some technological glitch. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, you are audible now.
All right, thanks. Thank you for the brief introduction, and a very good afternoon to everyone who is attending this session. Happy to see all of you here. And right, okay, so I see a lot of questions coming in, right? And I see even some of the students, in fact, the participants who are already very excited to know to go on online business and so on. But before that, okay, let me just cover up something of you, having a life as a student at Cyberlynx, okay? So just to address, very briefly, or in fact, I'll also quote something which was earlier mentioned by Dr. Prakash and Dr. Siva. So in terms of readiness, all right, so we as Cyberlynx, all right, we are very much ready in terms of, the online teaching and learning. So these days, I'm sure you're very much, you're always hearing the term online, digital, e-learning and so on. So before I can actually, use these terms, which might not be very familiar to you, such as, Moodle, Blackboard, and so on. So maybe just let me share a very simple scenario. So you as a student, okay, or even as a user, when you purchase a mobile phone, let's say, okay, you always want to make sure, all right, you have, certain features which are user-friendly, okay, you want the system or the platform, okay, or even the device to be very much, sophisticated, okay. As a user, you want things to be your way. You want things because you're paying, right? So as you know that you're paying, you want things to go smooth, all right? So the same way as a student. So let's say you join us, as a Cyberlynx student. I'm sure you have a lot of concerns, okay? Just like what Mr. Kate, I guess he's a foreign participant here. So answering to Kate's question and a lot of other concerns that students might have, okay, of Cyberlynx, you might be questioning, okay, I am sitting far away. I can't have an online campus experience. I can't meet the lecturer face to face. I can't meet my friends, okay? So you might be thinking, oh, it's okay, let me just wait for the COVID to end, all right? So if you are having this sort of, question and answer in your head, I'm sorry to say that you might be left behind. Okay, so just like what Dr. Prakash had mentioned earlier, his famous term, relevant. So you really got to stay relevant, all right? If you're going to wait for the pandemic to end, you're really going to waste your time, whereby your other friends, will already be going for studies online, okay, and will be graduating, whereby you are waiting for the online campus experience. So please do not do that, all right? So to actually answer some of your questions, if it was not raised, all right, we as Cyberlynx, okay, what we actually offer in terms of our online teaching and learning, all right? So I will not go really into detail, but just generally so you understand what exactly we offer. Just like how Kate has raised earlier, okay, everyone out there, they have got, the system to pay online and so on. So the same way, your experience as a student at Cyberlynx, okay, right from you, okay, before you even join us to learn, all right up to your graduation, all right, we will make sure that everything is handled online, all right, whether you are sitting in another state, okay, or even if you are close to college but you cannot come to college, that's okay, all right, even if you're an international student, it doesn't matter, all right. So that is why the system that we have in place is very sophisticated, it's very user friendly, it's creative, okay, and it's also engaging. We want to make sure that you have an experience which you are supposed to have in a college. Okay, so we want to make it on par. We want to make it so similar so that you don't feel that, oh, okay, I can't get to go to college, I can't meet my friends. So that's why the system, the technology these days, all right, makes you connect to your friends, to your lecturers, or in fact, even to your education. Okay, so very briefly, okay, what we actually have, all right, out there for you is basically a system called Open Learning and Moodle. All right, Moodle is basically a very well-known learning management system, which is vastly used by many institutions out there. Okay, Open Learning is basically also a learning management system where it provides, okay, or in fact, I would say in a layman's term, is a one-stop center, okay, whereby you as a student, you don't have to, you don't need the headache to look for certain things here and there. So we have this system, okay, which are designed very specially for a student to have everything downloaded from one center. Okay, so what are the things that you need as a student? I'm sure, okay, as a student, you will have some concerns. How am I going to pay my fees? Yes, we have a system, okay? We have a system on how you can actually pay online, how you can view your invoice. Let's say if your payment has been made, you can even view your invoice, you can view your statements, all right? And what's next? Okay, you as a student, you want to know your timetable. Yes, even that is online, all right? So you don't have to carry all those papers like those days, walking around in college with a bag, okay? You need to actually print out everything. So it's actually cost saving. Think about that, all right? Online education is also another cost saving, whereby you can actually get everything online, all right? All you need is a good internet connection. You need a device, okay? I'm not forcing you, to get a fantastic laptop, an Apple laptop. No, a simple device, even a mobile phone can actually be used. Okay, just like how you have your Shopee, your Lazada, you have all these Facebook, Instagram apps on your phone. The same way, even a learning management system, which I've told you, Moodle or Open Learning, can also be installed as an application in your mobile. So you don't have to carry all those papers around with you everywhere you go. Okay, so it's basically a one click. Okay, you get your timetable, you get your notes. Okay, as a student, I'm sure you want to know, where can I get the notes? You don't want to just sit in the class. All right, so a lot of you students, you might think that online studying is only about Zoom. No, okay, it's not only about Zoom. It's not just one platform that we are using. Okay, Zoom is basically, or in fact, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, these are all the communication platforms, okay, where you can interact with one another. Okay, in fact, even for meetings, you can use those platforms. But the other platform which I've explained, the learning management system, is where you can actually look up for all the information as a student. All right, so coming back to your educational materials, so you'll have your notes, okay, be it a PowerPoint slides, or whether it's ebooks, journals. So all these are also available for you. And apart from that, okay, another thing, or in fact another initiative that our college has taken is to come up with video lectures. Okay, so I understand that sometimes when you have online lectures, I can't deny that you could be sitting in certain areas where your internet connection is not strong. So when you have these lagging issues, okay, you tend to miss out a few minutes of lecture. So not to worry about that. Why? Because we have pre-recorded video lectures on every topic that we are going to teach. And not only that, even every video lectures are recorded and uploaded into the platform that I've mentioned, the learning management system. All right. And what else do we have? Okay. You have also, let's say if you have got problems, just like what Dr. Siva has highlighted earlier, we have got a mentor-mentee system, which is also a discussion forum, whereby you will be assigned to a mentor, all right, to actually handle all your issues. Okay, not your personal issues, all right? So these are more academic issues that we actually cater for students out there. So not to worry, okay, do not think that you being a student who is far away, you can't come to college knocking our door, that's okay. Because everything these days can be actually handled online. So when we have this sort of forums, chat box, okay, so all these platforms, or in fact, systems can cater for your needs, all right? And what else do you need? Exams. Yeah, you might be wondering, I'm a student, how am I going to do for my exam? I'm so far away. There's a lockdown going on. How am I going to come for my exam? So not to worry, even exams are conducted online, okay? Of course, with a very strict manner. Yes, we have got no choice, whereby exams are conducted on open book system, okay, which actually gives a leeway for students, to look up at books. But again, we also have, other systems embedded. For example, Turnitin. Turnitin is a plagiarism system, whereby, if let's say a student were to copy, someone's work. So all this is actually all embedded, integrated with the system. All right. So not to worry. Okay, as a student, the experience that you are going to have at Cyberlynx is going to be wonderful. We are going to be there to help you out. So ask yourself, are you actually ready? You have to change your mindset, and not think that education is all about face-to-face. Even this is face-to-face. You can see me, I can see you. It's still considered a face-to-face learning. Okay, it's just that the human touch is missing. So not to worry. You don't want to be left behind. Everything is moving very fast. All right. So I hope you are ready. All right. And I hope I've answered some of your questions, even if it's not raised. All right. So I hope to see you somewhere, you know, in Cyberlynx via our online teaching and learning platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Loveleen Kaur, on your brief explanation on our unique offering at our Cyberlynx International College. So before we end, we would like to have Dr. Siva to give a goodbye note to the speaker, to the audience. Dr. Siva, last few words before we end our session. Dr. Siva and Dr. Prakash, our guest, our honorable guest speaker.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, sir. Okay, doctor. A last note.
Yeah, even though we're going through a tough time, we are in MCO 3.0, supposed to be end by 28th of June. We don't know what's going to happen next after that. But yeah, we can keep complaining about this, but we have to move on. We have to find our own way to move forward. With Cyberlynx, we have moved our education system into purely online, mainly to cater for students to study without any disruptions. So this digital transformation title today is just right on time, and your SPM result just released a week, 2 weeks back ago. So please make a wise decision, right decision. We hope to see you in Cyberlynx as soon as possible.
Thank you, Dr. Siva. And back to you, Dr. Prakash. Last goodbye note or something, or some advice to our audience. Dr. Prakash, we can't hear you, doctor.
Sorry.
New norm, doctor.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. I would like to just make it a crisp summary. So to those listeners out there who is doing your studies in Cyberlynx, I would like to give you all a simple note. So always have a conscious mind. You know, our brain got subconscious and conscious mind, right? So subconsciously, I know that you are going to complete your diploma or degree, but I think the another fundamental is on your conscious mind, right? Always study putting an end game. So your end game is obviously to sustain by able to eat. To eat, you need to have money, right? So learn your skills with the college or the lecturer's knowledge, putting in mind whatever you learn, how you're going to articulate that to earn the money, whether being employed or being a technopreneur or being an entrepreneur in the technology era. So having the consciousness, right, that is what is going to make a differences when you leave your college, or even for the matter of fact, there's no such thing as after I graduate only I will look for job. After I graduate only I will start looking for how to make the money. Actually, there is no tomorrow. It starts now. Actually, even now you can start doing some research. You know, Elon Musk have said that there's no such thing as you need to look for information, or the information are hidden. Elon Musk says that you can get whatever you want through the internet. So if you are looking for a succession or a sustainability in this tough time, start today, start now, and plan for it, and then capitalize on what you're learning in Cyberlynx, and use it to your advantage, because nobody born intelligent, nobody suddenly become rich, or nobody suddenly become successful. Everybody used some kind of a seed, the seed of knowledge. That's why they always say, you know, knowledge is power, because having knowledge is one, but using the knowledge to get power is another animal. You know, many people have knowledge, but they don't know how to use the knowledge, so they remain poor. I know I have graduated in my secondary school days. I used to study in a school called Technic, Sekolah Menengah Teknik. I had like straight A student colleagues, straight A. Literally, these guys are like the best breed. Today they are just an ordinary people. So having knowledge is one, but using the knowledge to your own benefit effectively is another skill. And that is the skill which I think you need to look for. So that is about it. I wish everybody all the best. And thank you to Dr. Siva, Manimegalai, for inviting me to this session. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor. And it's our pleasure to have you in the web series today. So this includes, with the note, goodbye note and everything, this concludes our web series today. So thank you all for attending, and we hope you have learned a lot and enjoyed this web series. So stay home and stay safe, and thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.